everyone. I'm Laili Musyarofah Nita Tesyana. My student number is 2430042066. Today, I'm going to talk about two key concepts in pragmatics, the cooperative principle and implicature. Okay, next is cooperative principle. The cooperative principle is based on the idea that people generally aim to be cooperative when they communicate. In other words, speakers typically contribute to a conversation in ways that are expected to appropriate and helpful. Whereas that this principle as follows: make your contributions as required by the conversation of the talk and sense in which you are engaged. In essence, this means that speakers are expected to say what is needed and useful in the current context of the conversation, no more no less, whereas formulated for specific maxims or conversational rules that speakers are assumed to follow. First is maxim of quantity. The maxim refers to the amount of information a speaker provides. The idea is to give as much information as the situation requires, but not too much. For example, if someone asks, "How many siblings do you have?" and the response is simply 2. It is appropriate and follow the maxim. However, over-explaining by adding unnecessary detail violates this maxim and may confuse or overwhelm the listener. 2 is maxim of quality. This maxim requires the speaker be truthful. They should not say things they believe to be false or make statements without evidence. For example, if someone says, "The moon is made of cheese," violates the maxim as it is clearly meant as a joke or metaphor. In normal conversation, people rely on the assumption that others are being honest. 3 is maxim of relation, also called the maxim of relevance. This principle suggests that contribution to a conversation should be related to the topic at hand. If someone asks, "Did you enjoy the exam?" and the response is, "It rained all day," it may seem irrelevant unless there is an implied connection, such as bad weather affecting the test experience. In this case, the listener is expected to infer the hidden message based on context. And the last is maxim of manner. This maxim emphasizes clarity. Speakers should avoid ambiguity, be brave, and express their thoughts in an orderly fashion. For example, "He will make an act" is clear and follows the maxim. However, using overly technical or confused terms like "he procedural liquidatory and embryonic poultry units" violate the maxim by making the message unnecessarily complicated. These maxims are not rigid rules, but general guidelines that speaker and listener typically expert and rely on. So, implicature. What is implicature? Implicature refers to the additional meaning that is implied by a speaker but not directly stated. Not directly stated, listener understand meaning from context. Whereas distinguishes between two types of implicator: conversational and conventional. Conversational implicator. This occurs when a speaker flaws or deliberately breaks one of the maxims, but still manages to communicate a clear message based on shared assumption. For example, "Did Sarah do well on the test?" "Well, she didn't cry." Here, the speaker does not directly say whether Sarah did well or not. However, the listener can infer that Sarah probably passed or didn't perform terribly, otherwise she may have cried. This kind of communication relies on shared cultural understanding and the assumption that people are still trying to be cooperative even when they seem to bend the rules. Next is conventional implicator. Unlike conversational implicator, conventional implicator is not dependent on context but arises from the meaning of specific words. A classic example is the word "bad." He is poor but honest. The word "bad" suggests a contrast between being poor and being honest. Even though both are stated facts, the implication is that being honest is unexpected or surprising given his poverty, and this contrast is understood automatically by native speakers without needing additional context. So, why is this important? Understanding this concept helps us uh, in everyday life. This theory helps us understanding sarcasm, irony, or humor, decode polite or indecorate recurs, communicate more clearly and politely, avoid misunderstanding. Moreover, in fields like teaching, counseling, law advising, and cross-cultural communication, being aware of this pragmatic principle is key to avoiding misunderstanding and building better connection. And last is conclusion. Grass' theory of the cooperative principle and implicature reveals that successful communication is not just about understanding how people use language cooperative to express more than how people use language cooperatively to express more than what is said, and how listening inferred meaning based on what is implied. By mastering this concept, we become more aware, more effective, and more empathic communicator both in our personal life and professional interaction. So that's all from me. I apologize if there are any mistake. See you next video.